Welcome to What's in Your Data.
Brought to you by Melissa. Hi, my name is Daniel Lee, and I'm the Chief Data Wrangler at Melissa.
My name is Anna Chong, and I'm a software engineer team lead here at Melissa.
Hey. If you know this song, follow along with me.
Oh boy.
All right? Let me see. It goes, if there's something strange with your addresses, who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Hey. No, sorry. That's not correct. You want to phone a friend?
No.
Well, if there really is something strange going on with your addresses, you're probably going to have to look for an address provider.
Yes.
An address data quality.
An address buster.
Ooh.
Oh.
Address buster. Okay. Yeah, well, what do they do, address busters?
Well, I think, it depends, right? So, let's talk about I think we should maybe talk about why you might need an address. And who, right? Yeah. So, why would you need an address buster?
Well, you sounds like you know.
So say, for example, you're a retail company or a logistics company, and you want to make sure that the deliveries and everything are going to the correct address, right? So you don't want to just put any address down, but any address that someone might type in, because there could be typos in there. There could be validation and verification issues. So you want to make sure that those addresses that are coming into your system is clean, and that's one reason, why you might want an address buster. Or if you're a mailing company, you don't want to be sending hundreds and thousands of mailers out to non-existent addresses that might just come back to you, right? So you want to make sure that those are verified and validated as well. So that's one example.
You're talking about, you said logistics, but logistics, shipping, mailing, retail, those are dealing with consumers and actual, maybe physical packages. You don't even need physical packages.
Sure.
Sometimes like a financial institution, like a bank, or even, an agency somewhere, and they're just keeping records of their customers.
Yeah.
Right? And the customer fills out an intake form for an address. How do you know that the input was correct?
Right.
Maybe they missed a column, they mistyped the name of the street, and you want to maintain your customer database to be correct.
Right.
And accurate, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be physical packages. It could just be data. Data
itself, yeah.
Yeah.
And every type of industry needs a little something different, right? So it's not a one size fits all. So what kind of address busters you need? I keep saying address busters, but address providers. What kind of address providers do you actually need for your particular industry? So that's something to think about as well.
So how do you select? How do you identify? How do you find said address provider?
Well, I think there's three main categories.
I've been foreshadowing this since the beginning of this talk.
Oh, really?
Yes, AAA. AAA. Yeah.
There's three A's?
No. It's spelled AEI. Think of it like AEIOU. Like the vowels. Like you want to buy a vowel? But this is free. We're giving this to you guys for free. You don't have to buy a vowel. You don't have to pay for it. It's like AEIOU, but forget the O and U. It's AEI, which is like A.
Okay. So I owe you something later.
Okay.
No? Because OU?
OU. Someone owes me. But AEI. Another acronym.
Here we go. Here we go.
Hopefully to remember. But A for accuracy, accuracy and coverage.
Okay.
E for experience and trustworthiness.
Okay.
And I for implementation and deployment.
Sure.
Yeah. So accuracy, experience, and implementation.
Yeah.
So
AEI.
AEI. Yeah, AEI. That's it. Stop. AEI. Stop. But yes, it's been foreshadowed, and here we are. Now we're talking about it. Experience.
Okay. Anyway.
Sorry.
Let's start.
Accuracy.
Let's start at the top then, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about accuracy and coverage. So what is? Let me talk about the coverage portion, right? So again, it's not a one size fits all. So everyone's going to need something different. So are you going to need like a US based data set? Are you going to need a global set, right? So your use case might mean you're going to need something a little bit more broader, or not broader, a little bit more local to the United States, or you might need something that's a little bit more of the world. And how detailed of a data set are you looking for? Like, do you need it to be accurate up to like a specific delivery point? Do you need it to be accurate up to like an area, for example? Everyone's a little bit different. Your use case is a little different. And are there any other type of address services that are provided with it, like change of addresses, right? Do you need to keep track of where this person is moving to and from? Are we talking verification versus validations? We talked about that before. So like,
And what is it again?
So validation is just saying, verification
Is all the way.
is all the way. Verification is saying this is a valid looking address and it's a deliverable address.
So it's validation, then verification, right? So something can look valid,
Yeah.
but it's verified.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So, that's kind of like the granular thing, right? So like, how much does that actually matter to you versus can you be a little bit more loose on that?
That plays a little bit into the A accuracy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could have providers that just say, yeah, that's a valid looking address, but you have other providers that looks valid and it is deliverable.
Yeah.
Or it is valid, it's deliverable, not currently accepting mail.
Sure. Yeah.
It could be that granular.
Yeah.
Right. In the United States.
Yeah.
So, and you're talking about services, maybe we can, the address provider can append stuff that
Right.
you were missing.
Yeah. Cleaning, pending. Yeah. So all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, those are all services. How much do you need?
Right.
Right. And other accuracy, like if I only had partial address, maybe the house number, the street, and the city, can you complete it all the way to the zip and the +4? If it's global, maybe I just know some basic stuff, but I needed more information to get the package delivered globally to an international with their standards.
Yep.
Right. So how accurate is that provider
Right.
in the coverage area I need?
Right. Like maybe you just have pieces of information and you don't have the full deliverable address, like a formatted address that you need, but maybe a provider can do that for you. A buster.
An address buster. Did you know there are some providers that can actually, if you're delivering to like a suite, like a suite 100 or apartment A,
Yeah.
they can match if the name that you're addressing to
Matches.
matches.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So if it doesn't, it could tell you that, but maybe you got the suite wrong.
Okay.
Or the other way is I have the name and the base address, and maybe you can fill in the suite for me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's that level of service as well.
So now we're getting into the accuracy part.
Yeah. So accuracy all the way down to the apartment suite, not just the building that it's at, but to the actual suite or PO box.
Yeah, that's true. We have those.
Yeah, yeah. So that's thinking about accuracy and coverage.
Okay.
What you would expect from an address provider.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that checks off the first A. Well, not the first A. The first vowel.
The A.
Yeah.
What's
all right.
next?
So now let's talk about experience and trustworthiness, right?
E. Okay.
In an address provider. So, when you're talking about an address provider, you want to make sure that they have the experience that you're looking for in the particular industry that you're in. I sound like a broken record, but it's not a one size fits all. There are certain address vendors and address busters who might be more experienced in a particular industry, like healthcare, like logistics. But so you're gonna want to look into that, or maybe there's a one-stop shop that can do everything.
How long have they been around?
How long they've been around?
Because honestly, if an address provider has been around a long time, they've seen a lot more.
Yeah.
They've seen addresses that, technically on paper it looks this way, but locally they call it a different way, or they abbreviate it differently.
Yeah.
And it just comes with years of experience.
Right. And then the challenges that come with that particular set or particular industry. Also, different industries have different compliance rules, right? So like, are they keeping up with the compliance for your industry? I think healthcare and that area is pretty big, like with HIPAA and stuff like that, right? So you want to make sure that your address provider is up to standard on that as well.
Again, it's with experience.
Yep, exactly.
If they've dealt with it over their tenure, then they'll know how to work with you.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. And the different challenges in different, with experience, we also talk about where they're getting their data from.
Yes.
Their data source. One thing to think about an address provider is if they're OEM or if they're a reseller. Because there's some address providers that just resell address verification services from someone else.
Sure.
So with resellers, they might not have the full breadth of experience.
Sure.
And data sources and whatnot.
Yeah. They're not the one creating the data. They just have it.
Yeah. Or they're just middleman.
Sure.
But if you're OEM, original equipment manufacturer, but basically if you're the ones who wrote the program, you're dealing with the data raw.
Yeah.
Then you and with the experience, then you'll know when there are problem addresses. Maybe you haven't thought about it, but there's in the US there's USPS addresses and then there's non-USPS addresses.
Yes.
These are valid addresses, but they just don't get delivered by the USPS. But UPS, FedEx, Amazon, any other delivery provider, they'll get to you.
Yeah.
And some private mailboxes, that kind of stuff.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So, what's their experience dealing with those type of addresses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All valid things. All valid things that you should be looking for.
Yeah. And then speaking about data sources, besides the set of US addresses, USPS, and then there's the non-USPS, we talk about certifications. Where are they getting, if you're OEM or if you're working with the data, are you getting it straight from the USPS, the governmental source? It's high quality, you trust it, and then there's certifications. Have you heard of CAS?
I have heard of CAS.
You know what it stands for, right?
It's a coding accuracy support system.
Yep, that's right.
I got it.
Yes.
I was like, I knew it, but yeah.
CAS, Coding Accuracy Support System. It's like the SAT. It's a test. It's a test. But however, a lot of vendors, a lot of address providers might say we're CAS certified.
Yeah.
But what level?
Yeah. Okay. How many levels are there?
2.
All right.
There are 2 stages. Stage 1 and then stage 2. So stage 1 is kind of like a self-certification. Kind of like you looked at the test, you looked at your data, and you said, "Yeah, I pass."
Okay, so it's kind of like you said that you passed.
Yes.
There's no third party saying.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So stage 2 CAS certified is when you take an actual test.
Okay.
Where they give you all the trick questions possible. The USPS administers the test, and then they'll certify you.
Okay.
Excuse me.
You're excused.
All right. Bye. So. Stage 2 certification will help providers cut back on false positives and false negatives.
Okay, so it seems like a much more of a not detailed, but a higher level of verification process that your data has gone through.
Yes. And what's a false positive? A false positive saying that, yeah, this address exists, but it doesn't really.
Okay.
And false negative is the opposite, saying this address exists, but it doesn't.
Yeah, okay.
So those are false, right? And your system, your program will reduce those if they pass will most likely reduce those if they pass the CAS test.
Okay.
Stage 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, lots to think about. And we're only two letters in.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So what's the last one?
Well, implementation.
I.
Yes.
Okay.
No, me.
You? No, we're not doing you.
I know. Because you said I, and so I was like, me?
O before U. I before E. Except after C.
All of a sudden, this became a...
English lesson.
Yes. Okay. Implementation.
Yeah. Yes. Back to that.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I think implementation itself can mean a couple of things. I want to talk about the deployment aspect. So how you are going to ingest the data from the address provider. They could provide addresses or data in various manners, right? So it could be an API, it could be an on-premises object, it could be integrations into your own programs and services. So there's many ways for you to be able to access this data.
So APIs, you're talking about like web service APIs?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like cloud, in the cloud?
In the cloud, yes.
So JSON, XML,
Yep.
whatever format floats your boat?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
And you said on-prem, so we talked about on-premise coding.
I think so.
But a programming language of your choice.
Yes.
be it Java, C#, C++, whatever language you want, Python.
Yep.
Do they support it?
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
then you said, what did you say? Integrations?
Integrations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you don't code, and you just use some CRM like HubSpot or Shopify. And is there an integration available in that marketplace for you?
Yep. Yeah. Because how easy or how difficult do you want it to be, right? And I don't say difficult meaning like difficult to implement, but how much of the actual coding part do you want to do?
Actually, speaking about that, there's also hands-off approach for some providers. They'll do it for you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like
white glove service.
White glove service. You just come and say, here's my addresses. It's in this Excel workbook. I don't know what to do. They'll say, don't worry about it. We'll clean it all for you, and we'll give you back the corrected form.
Nice.
Yeah. That's like a data service.
So yeah, I mean, there's many options out there, and you're gonna want to keep track of their service uptimes, right? You're gonna want to make sure that they're, I think, 99.99 whatever percent, right? That's kind of the standard that you want to try to get to. So you want to make sure that the services will be available to you whenever you need it. You want to make sure that the response times are quick, right? You don't want to be waiting like 30 seconds to just be able to verify and validate one address.
Not even. 1 second is still long.
Right, yes.
Because if you do a second per address, that's only 60 addresses per minute.
Yeah, not a lot.
And then 60 times 60, for an hour.
Yeah.
It's 3,600 for an hour. That's not a lot.
No.
Yeah. It's got to be sub-second, milliseconds.
Oh, yeah. So these are all things that you need to look into, your agreements and stuff like that. So yeah, just keep in mind, those are some of the, I mean, of course, there's a lot more details about it too, but these are kind of like the more obvious things to kind of look into.
Yeah, of course, because once you've integrated or implemented the address provider's systems with yours, you're kind of dependent on it, and you want to make sure that there's service level agreements that says, hey, you got to be uptime for me in my region with a certain response time, because if they go down or they affect your customers.
Yeah, exactly.
And you want your supply chain to be perfect. Yeah. And then also about implementation, and you mentioned this, maybe you foreshadowed for me, but compliance. Right. So during implementation, there's some compliance such as security.
Yes.
So different. You mentioned healthcare a lot.
Yeah.
HIPAA compliance. Does the address provider protect your data? Anonymize, no storage.
Yeah.
Even though it's just an address, but there's some security about it.
Right. You don't want it just out there in the wild, willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Associated with you.
Right. So HIPAA compliance, SOC 2 compliance, GDPR for Europe, even for the government, FedRAMP.
Yep.
So there's lots of different certifications out there. ISO is the address provider, and the more certifications they have, it just shows that they're really invested in keeping your data secure and providing you the best service.
Yeah, it's about the experience, right? And it just means that that they have been around long enough to be able to get all these certifications and to know enough to be able to provide that level of service to you as a customer.
Yeah, and pass the tests.
Yep.
From CAS to all the other compliance tests.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was in a nutshell how to pick an address buster.
We really have nothing for O and U?
I don't think so.
Nope. No, because that's too many. Let's just keep AEI, accuracy.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah. Keep it KISS. Keep it simple, senora.
Okay.
Yes. Or keep it simple, silly. KISS. So AEI, accuracy, experience, and implementation.
Yep.
Those are things you should be thinking about as you're trying to choose an address provider.
Yes. Or an address buster.
To bust those bad addresses.
Yeah. So who are you gonna call? Hopefully.
Address busters.
Yes. Hopefully a good address buster who can help you with all the stuff we just mentioned. Nice.
Excuse me. I think I need some busters around here.
You need some dust busters.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining on this episode. If you like this type of content, please make sure you subscribe and like so that you can be notified when future videos get uploaded and so that we can reach out to other viewers similar to you.
Well, we'd love to hear from you. So please email us at podcast@melissa.com and we can't wait to hear from you.
Until next time.
Stay data curious.